This is the case of Sarah Elizabeth Kinslow. If you want to know more about her case, please continue watching.
You are watching Roll a Mile in My Shoes TV.
Sarah Elizabeth Kinslow was last seen at Greenville Middle School at 7 a.m. on Monday, May 1st, 2001. She did not go to her classes that day and planned to meet friends at a local cemetery. Her friends said she never showed up and she has not been seen or heard from since. I know that kids have strange hangout spots. Like some hang out in wooded areas, some hang out in abandoned buildings, but I think this is the first time I've ever heard a group of teenagers hanging out in a cemetery, especially in the daytime. But I guess that's a good hangout spot if you're supposed to be cutting school and you don't want to be seen by anyone or anyone that recognizes you. So I guess this is a good hangout spot and this is why they chose that spot. But I still find it a little weird that they would choose a cemetery to hang out in. But I mean, as kids, we all have done strange things, and this is probably just another one that a group of teens decided to do. After Sarah went missing, police brought in canine scent dogs and they tracked her scent 2 blocks from the school, and it also ended there. Now, this would probably mean that she was picked up by a vehicle, and that is why the dogs were unable to track her scent any further. Because, like I said, they lost her scent 2 blocks from the school, which is, as far as they could go. So she was probably picked up by a vehicle, and some people speculate that the person who picked her up was her boyfriend, who was 18 at the time. And her parents said they knew that she was dating him, but they didn't approve. And his name is Curtis Wayne Bell. And a week later, after her disappearance, he was arrested and charged with sexual assault of a child. And this would not be the first or the last time he would be charged with something like this. Although people say that they suspect her boyfriend of being the one who picked her up and that's why her scent couldn't be tracked by the dogs anymore, a witness say they saw her get into an older model light blue Ford truck at 3:30 p.m. and was driven by a man in his 30s with dark brown hair and a pencil mustache. And I mean, this could be somebody that her boyfriend knew, and he used them to pick her up so that if anyone saw her, they wouldn't think that, they wouldn't see him with her, seeing as her parents didn't approve of her dating him since he was much older than her. And so that would make sense that he would use someone else to pick her up to bring her to him or for them to meet up. Even though Sarah was seen getting into this light blue truck with this older man in his 30s, she was later thought to have been seen at a phone booth in Cato Mills, Texas. Now, I don't know how far this is from where she went missing or how many miles it is from where she went missing, but this seems kind of far, so I'm wondering Was she traveling with someone who she knew, or was she, um, taken against her will after she met up with her boyfriend? I mean, I have so many questions because it's just strange that she went missing from her school, and then later she's seen in Texas, miles and miles away from her home, and she hasn't been seen or heard from since. So that's kind of strange. Remember how I said her boyfriend was charged with sexual assault of a child? Later, it was found that he was actually sexually involved with Sarah as well, but this is no shocker because he was 18 and she was only 14 when she went missing. And yet again, this is another thing that, teenagers do, no matter how early in their teens they are or later in their teens they sometimes break the rules and do things that they know that their parents aren't going to approve of. And her dating Belle was just another one of the things that her parents didn't approve of. But even though her parents let her know that they didn't approve of this and told her to stop seeing him, she didn't, because it is later found out during the investigation that they did on him when he was charged with the sexual assault of a child. He said that he was supposed to be in the cemetery that day to meet up with her as well, where her friends were supposed to be. So I'm wondering if the man who she was seen with at 3:30 took her against her will, and she was on the way to the cemetery and just never made it because this man just so happened to be, I guess you could say, in the right place at the right time, and he abducted her, and that's why she never made it to where she was going. I mean, this is one of the many questions that I have among so many others. Sarah's parents found a diary that she had kept a while after she went missing, and in her diary she wrote that her and Curtis would run away to Mexico and get married. Now remember, I don't know what the legal age is in Mexico, but I know here in some states in, I guess, this part of the world, you have to be at least 16, but you can get married at 16 with your parents' permission, I guess. But I don't know what the rules are there in Mexico. So, I don't know how that was going to work. But I just wonder, had they planned this out, or was it just a thought that she had, or was it a thought that he put in her head? I mean, it's so many questions I have, but I'm pretty sure this was a thought that he put in her head, because this is what people who are his age and they date younger people, or they are sexually involved with younger people, this is what they tend to do. Sometimes they tend to sell them fantasies and dreams that are probably never going to come true. They just want to string them along and use them until they have basically used them for whatever they, want, like what he was using her for, obviously. And he didn't have any intentions on doing this. He just, was selling her dreams and hopes. Now, several of her friends, and I'm guessing some of his friends, were asked if they knew anything about her disappearance. And they all said that they didn't know anything, but turns out they probably were lying because they failed polygraph tests when they were, administered to them. And this makes me wonder, do they know more than they're telling? Did they see something and it happened and they just didn't know how to tell anyone, and they decided to keep quiet about it? I mean, why would you fail a polygraph test when this is your friend and you're supposed to, love and care about this person, but you failed the polygraph test when you're asked if you know anything about her disappearance? That's really strange to me. In 2012, Curtis Wayne Bell, at the age of 29, had probation on a charge of sexual assault of a child revoked, and he was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Sarah is the youngest missing person in Hunt County, Texas. If you have any information about Sarah Kinslow, please contact the Greenville Police Department at 903-457-2900. This is an age progressed photo of what she might look like today and what she looked like when she went missing. And if you guys know anything, please call that number and make sure that you give them any information that you may have. No matter how big or how small you may think it is, it can help find her and bring her home. But if you guys like this video, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.